Hey, welcome to SoulllConnections Conversation for the Soul Live Podcast Talk Show. Grown Folks Edition. But it's the Ladies Edition. So you know it's a meeting in the ladies' room. I'll be there real soon. Okay, alright. I'm sorry I felt that for a minute. So listen, we got the ladies at the table today. Y'all know who it is. It's your girl Slim. Yes, self-love is mandatory. That is a fact, and we're back with another great episode. So as stated, we already have the ladies in the room. I want to go ahead and give a disclaimer before we even start and before we give the introduction, just so we're clear on everything. I'm trying to sit clear. So we, the members of SoulllConnections, reserve the right to uphold our First Amendment right. All the values and views that we express on this platform for entertainment and educational purposes for you. So please do your own research at your own discretion. I am not a therapist, okay? You have a degree though, I'm not a therapist. So if you feel that you need help, please reach out, talk to a therapist. We're there to help. Okay. So the Grown Folk Table Talk Ladies Edition is where we have conversations that heal the soul. In order to heal, you have to identify, address, and talk about those problems or those issues that most people are afraid to talk about. We are the generation curse breakers of this era, and we're trying to get all on the same energy so that we can be on the same frequency, which is love. So past life experiences have shaped future life's perspective. Everyone has a vision of love. So what's yours? So today, we decided to ask the ladies about a specific topic. Before we go into that topic, I want to go ahead and introduce my table today, y'all. Give it up for them. We're going to go ahead and start on the right. Go ahead. Please, prophetess, state your name.
My name is Prophetess Don.
Prophetess Don. Tell the people what you do.
Oh, I am a Christian artist. I make Christian music.
Okay.
It's a variety, but I'm very biblical. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, I'm everywhere. I don't have any music out on all platforms because I decided to do all videos. But Prophetess Don is my name. Is everywhere. So
Y'all get it? Prophetess Don. Okay, Christian rap. She said she got them Christian bars for you. That's what I told her earlier. Give it up for Prophetess, please, for me. Thank you. Lovely lady in the middle, please.
Hi, my name is Shelly Wu, and I am a youth advocate for the DHS services. I also have a traveling business called Planet Marketing. Anytime you would like to travel, you can just holler at me and we'll get you right.
Okay. Hey, I can take her around the world. Okay, Tata, please let the people know who you are and what you do.
Hello everybody, my name is Tatanese. I'm an author, career storyteller, career writer. You can see some of my works on comfortpieces.care. You can subscribe to my page. Follow me on Facebook under Tatanese Marshall. I have a work in progress called Songs of Broken Glass, so look forward to that in the future. I've seen a few things, so I know a few things. So I just want to share that with you guys and welcome you on to hear me speak.
Okay, well, I appreciate you giving up. I definitely appreciate their time, their energy, and definitely their voice here today on SoulllConnections. So, as everybody wants to know, what exactly is this topic today about? So, I'm going to break it down for you. It's basically about narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder. We're going to talk about a little about gaslighting. Hey, guys, I know a touch, huh? Listen. I know, that's why I did it. I did it for us. That's where that healing sets in. Right. So, I just want to recap at the last episode where we had the men. If you remember, the men did take the time to go ahead and write questions for the ladies. These lovely ladies here will be answering those questions later on in the show. But as of right now, what we're going to talk about is basically what is a narcissist. See, this word gets overused in our generation at this time. And so with the devaluing that word and misusing that word can create a lot of issues per se, especially if you're not using it correctly and don't understand the medical reasoning behind it. So that's what I wanted to address today here at the table. This is what the ladies agreed on, so we're going to have a discussion about it. Before we do, I want to let you know basically what is a narcissist. What is a narcissist? When you think of the word narcissist, what comes to your mind? So I'm going to go ahead and ask the lovely ladies of the table what exactly that means when they hear the word narcissist. Please, and we're going to go left to right this time.
I would say a narcissist would be someone who's very controlling, very manipulative, very self-centered, someone that lacks accountability. They are very charismatic. They can definitely blend in with the crowd.
Take put that charm on it.
Definitely.
That little razzle dazzle.
And again, that goes into that manipulation.
Absolutely.
So that I would say someone is toxic. To sum it up in one word, someone who is extremely toxic.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Shelly Woo, what you got? What it do, boo?
I
Shelly
would
Woo.
say when I hear the word narcissist, I think of a person being, again, controlling, but also I would say, she said most of the stuff that I was going to say, but insecure. I would say very, very insecure, and I would say jealous. I would put jealousy in it for a narcissist. And then I would say a personality disorder.
Yes,
I would say
absolutely.
personality.
Great. So now we're getting up in the mental. What you thinking about? Prophetess, drop a dime on him. What you say, Prophetess, drop a dime on him. I found out things like that. Please tell me, what do you think a narcissist is? When you think of the word narcissist, what do you?
I hear a very self-centered person that likes to play the victim a lot. They don't like to take accountability. And jealousy. That's
Jealousy, okay. That's the same thing Shelly would say, yeah. So let me break it down to you. Basically, you are all correct. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, mix and apply to present that. So basically a narcissist is someone who exhibits a persuasive pattern of grandiosity, a need for admiration, a lack of empathy. They often gravitate to those who serve their needs, whether it's through admiration and validation or providing a sense of control and power. So, ladies, we're all in agreement that everything that everybody said is a little bit of this, a little bit of that, which creates narcissists. Especially the lack of empathy. So they don't have no compassion, no sympathy, no nothing. They don't feel nothing. They just not. So it's afraid to be not. So the term narcissist is frequently overused or misused, often applied to individuals who are simply just selfish or attention-seeking. Or they can be disagreeable, rather than those who actually meet the clinical criteria of a narcissistic person/personality disorder. So, ladies, I asked you here today to give your views on narcissism, and of course, that may come through like personal experience, because in order to understand it, to know it, you must have obviously, went through it. So I want to say personally, thank you guys so much for coming on to the show and actually giving your thoughts, your opinion, your suggestions in regards to this narcissism. So I want to ask you, since I started left to right, let's start in the middle. Shelly Woo, what it do? I love saying that, boo. Have you ever encountered a situation where you had to deal with a narcissist, whether it's in your friends, family, work?
Yes, I have. And what I got from the relationship was that they were like leeches. And they were draining me because of their narcissistic behavior. And so it's really tough being with a narcissist, or either in your family. It's very, very, very tough.
Yes.
Because they can suck you dry.
Absolutely. Now, Now, do you feel right now with the modern day times that do you feel that the word narcissism, you're narcissistic, is overused?
Almost definitely, because I don't think we understand that there's many forms of narcissists. You know, it's many forms of it.
And I want to thank you for that too, because we're definitely going to go ahead and touch on that. Prophetess, same question goes to you that I asked Shelly Boo in regards to, do you feel that the word narcissist, or the meaning definition of the word narcissist, is being overused or misused in society today?
Yes and no, because in reality there's not a lot of narcissists. Some people know that they are narcissists, and some people know that they're not. They don't understand what narcissist is, so they don't see it within themselves. But I know narcissism can help you also look at yourself within, you know, whether you're people pleasing or it just makes you look at yourself a little different. It's the boundaries that, you know, you let people overstep. So.
Okay. Thank you. What about you, TT?
I'm going to say no. And the reason why I'm saying no, that it's not overused, just from my own personal
Hold on. You push my lace right back, girl. Hold on. Wait, let me put this down.
Just from my personal experience, I've noticed that a lot of people who get labeled narcissists are actually, it's right on point. It's on point. Dealing in personal experiences, we need to understand, for example, I had a family member that was a narcissist and is a narcissist, excuse me. And there are certain people that they attract. And so since there are certain people that are attracted to them, for example, ADHD, people with ADHD tend to overshare a lot of their life stories, their information, especially if you're a person that's open like myself. And because you're open, they gain access to a lot of information to use against you, to control you, to kind of manipulate your reality, to manipulate your emotions. So if you're not really controlling your own emotions, they will really gain access to and reach onto that. And I noticed that even with public figures, you will see narcissism, but the issue is that it's not that, I want to say narcissist is actually overused. I think that what's happening right now is that the traits are being overused. Some of those traits are not being recognized, and they're being labeled onto people that they don't belong to. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, she was cooking. Y'all know that. Yes, that makes perfect sense. I apologize for cutting you off. You were definitely cooking, girl. You was in the kitchen. Definitely understand. No, I do want to address the 5 characteristics that the narcissist does have. Wait, before we even do that, in regards to what you were saying as far as latching onto your emotion, that go ahead and lead to PSTD, by latching onto emotions and stuff like that and controlling them. Stockholm Syndrome, and if you don't know what Stockholm Syndrome is, please look it up. It's when you're in love with your quote-unquote your abuser, whether it's financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically, etc. Please look it up. And it could create other mental illnesses that you would eventually need therapy for. And unfortunately, I did look up to see if there was a cure for narcissism. What's the cure? Pharmacies want to put us down with this. What's the cure? And the only cure that I found is after doing my research, they said there isn't. So I said, ha-ha! We're going to take that to the Lord. Ha-ha! That's what we're going to do. So, yeah. Again, I'm mistaken. I'm no therapist, but I'm giving my opinion. The only way you can get from narcissism, that disease, that sickness, is a lot of prayer with the Lord. Get right, or to whom you believe in. But as far as the emotional manipulation, that also leads to the sub-topic of what we're going to talk about, ladies, which is gaslighting as well. So the 5 characteristics of the narcissist is a grandiose sense of self-importance. Narcissists often exaggerate their achievements, their talents, and expect to be recognized as superiors without any achievements to back it up. You just want to make up something they do there. I don't understand. Number 2, fixated on fantasies of success or power. They may be preoccupied with fantasies and unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or an and dismissing or ignoring them. Now, there's a lot of people that would get this confused, ladies. There's a difference between setting boundaries and quote-unquote being a narcissist, right? Just because I'm setting boundaries does not make me a narcissist. Because I don't go along with your plan does not make me a narcissist. Ladies, do you agree with that?
Yes.
In your situation of where you had to put up boundaries, please tell me the boundaries that you had to put up to protect yourself, your energy, and your mind from narcissistic individuals.
So I'll definitely start on that one. Narcissist people believe that they are entitled to your resources, your time, and your emotions. So you have to be emotionally available for them. Your time has to be there for them at a drop of a hat, and your resources have to be there. So one of the boundaries that it took me too long to set was no. No is an entire sentence.
Amen. You better talk your stuff.
So when I, in issuing this no, what I notice is that narcissists will invalidate your no. They need to know the why. They need to know the what behind the why. And then they'll find ways to invalidate. Okay, can I get a ride? No. Well, why not? I don't have time, or I have something else. Well, can you reschedule? You will get tied into situationships with narcissists.
Okay.
Their situation will always override whatever's going on inside of your own life.
Okay.
Their situation, whatever's going on with them, will always be a lot more important than what's going on with you. And then you will be villainized for prioritizing yourself. Villainized because your paycheck is not available to them. They will have your paycheck spent before you have it spent, constantly borrowing. So I'm literally just speaking like this really happened with me. I have a relative that was like that. And I ended up, my boundary with them, I had to actually go no contact. I had to go no contact with them.
You gave it straight raw, no chaser.
So
Block,
because for me,
control, up, delete. Control, up, delete.
Boundaries is where respect is either going to end or to begin.
Woo! Oh, please, hold on, excuse me. Let me interject. I'm sorry, I felt that. Hold up, wait now. I don't think you caught that, sis. Rewind.
Listen.
Say what you said because you said it.
Those boundaries is where respect is either going to begin or it ends.
There you go. You hear that? It's either where it starts or it finishes.
So at that point, you have to adjust yourself. Adjust yourself accordingly. Believe them exactly where they show you they are. They always do. It's not a mask. So once you feel that those boundaries are violated, it's up to you at this point to decide where you're going to keep them inside of your life. Okay. Everyone is not entitled to your time. Everyone is not entitled to your person. You've got to choose who's in your circle.
Okay,
sometimes that circle is going to be just you for a little while.
Okay, sis.
Let me
I apologize for interjecting. Let me get Shelly Rue. Shelly Rue, we're gonna go right down the line. Thank you so much for that, because you was dropping it. I was like, wait a minute, sis. Wait, you keep them coming. I ain't mad at it. I'm gonna let you cook. Go ahead, Shelly Rue.
So the boundaries that I would have is most definitely the lips, right?
Okay. She said you can't see me, Casper. Where?
I'm home. Okay. You're on Do Not Disturb.
Okay.
I'm not answering my phone. But then we got to understand that when you're parenting with one, right?
Ooh.
And so that's the juicy part.
Ooh.
Right?
Wait a minute. She said, let me add the seasoning. You was stirring the pot when she said seasoning, baby.
So like I said, a go goes, but if the situation comes where there's children.
Okay.
So I would keep the conversation short and sweet, right? Because they love to engage with you. They like to draw it all off and they get centered about them. But I always make sure I let the others know that it's about, not just about, it's about me right now.
Right.
Because you can't just go ghost on someone you're co-parenting with or your family members.
Absolutely.
But you have to allow for them to know that it's about you too. You are important as well.
Right.
You deserve the respect just like they want the respect. So another thing that I do with my boundaries is that keeping it short, sweet, go ghosting. But another one is just love them at a distance. Especially because when it's family.
She said long-handled spoon.
Long-handled spoon.
I still want you to eat, but just far away from me.
Far away. Because if they're, like again, if they're family members, then you just can't go ghost your family members. You show them love, but you back away. But one thing with a narcissist, you have to allow for them to understand that you are important and you deserve the respect. So that's for me. That's what I do. Just go ghost and keep it short and sweet.
Short, sweet, simple. The
Or even at cookouts. We all go to cookouts and family events. You can't escape cookout or family event.
Right.
So you just have to just make sure that you are taking self-care and caring about yourself before you engage with a narcissist. Because if you're not, they will eat you up. Again, they're leeches. So.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Prophetess, please. Go ahead in that kitchen, girl. Roll them sleeves up, girl.
Well, I'm gonna speak on the experience of if you can't go no contact.
Okay.
I was in a situation where I couldn't go no contact. First thing you probably would want to do is make a plan. Narcissists, they like to control, whether it's money, whatever, car, where you're going. They don't want you to have a job sometimes. So I would say to make a plan, get your money right. Work as much as you can.
I ain't mad at it.
And when the time is right, I would just leave. No, nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't block them when you leave. Because there's some times where you can't get out of a situation with a narcissist because sometimes we love who we love. You know what I'm saying? You don't see the signs. You don't know what's going on until it gets too late. They already got you stuck. They already got you hooked. But basically, yeah, just make a plan, get your money right, and leave. After that, no contact. Because I had a hard time. I didn't have boundaries and stuff like that. And
You had to learn that as you went along.
yeah, I had to learn everything that was happening. I just had to learn. It's hard.
Yeah.
But the Lord saved me, so I got to thank Him for that.
Right. Get an amen on that.
Amen.
Yes. Thank you, ladies, for your opinions on that. I actually, and again, in my mind of what I experienced, I've experienced narcissistic personality disorder, gaslighting, and the list goes on. Okay, and I can identify with each of what these ladies here are saying in my own personal experience. I even wrote a poem about it in regards to the situation I was in, and it was called "I'm in Love with a Narcissist." It wasn't just starting in a relationship, but it was a home base as well. However, the poem was about the relationship. I ain't gonna lie about that. There's a video on that. But it started in the household in regards to that, and how I had to set boundaries. The boundaries obviously do make you look like the bad guy, but how you feel about me is a personal problem with you. You know what I mean? I was such a people pleaser because that's just how I was traditionally brought up to keep the peace. But now, as we move into more modern day times, I have created a word called auditional, where we got to act a little modern, but we have traditional values. You understand what I'm saying? We got to keep up with the media, with the times, such as, I was going to say such as online banking. I know. But, so in regards to that, that's how I felt about narcissism. Now, the way that it's misused is overgeneralized because people may label a narcissist based on a single incident or a few behaviors that doesn't necessarily indicate a full-blown disorder. You know what I mean? So maybe, like you said, you put up those boundaries. And because I did not act according to the way that you wanted me to act, then you call me a narcissist, when actually I was just creating my boundaries, and you're overgeneralizing it to me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you guys agree with that?
I agree.
You agree with that? And also using the word narcissist nowadays being overused as a level of shame now, with the exploitation on Facebook, lashing out, etc. Have you ladies ever dealt with that, or were on one side of the Facebook bashing and on another side? Oh, you were too? Okay, cool! Let me go with this name is Soul Connection, because y'all know me. I was bashing like a motherfucker. Oh. And we was 5 minutes in, so we good. We can cuss a little bit. I'm grown out here, okay? It's the grown folk thing, whatever they do. But anyway, yeah, y'all know me. Y'all know I was talking all that shit as I ass and didn't care. So please I'm very interested because I don't mind sharing mine. Y'all ladies got to tell y'all story on how y'all were quote unquote toxic on Facebook. Don't worry, we'll wait. Please, tell us what happened. We're going to go ahead and start with you, Prophetess.
I wasn't toxic, so I should say. I was more biblical. I'm not even going to lie.
Okay. She turned the other cheek. Turned that way.
Because when I got out of the relationship, that's when God found me. So you know what I'm saying? I started reading the Bible, and He says, "Don't fight evil with evil." I was the one that led the smear campaign against me.
What you said? We didn't want to match energies. We wasn't trying to match energies.
Yeah.
That's a mental illness factor right there.
Sometimes the loudest person in the room is the guilty one. So.
Okay. Or sometimes they just got a dislocal voice box that's just loud. No, I'm just joking. Shelly, woo, what it do?
I would say I wasn't toxic either, but I was letting out a lot of emotions. You know, during that time, but yeah, it was because one thing about it, our emotions, we want to get it out. We don't want to hold it in.
Yes.
And the quickest thing to do was go on social media so we can have our surround sound, commented on,
Thumbs going.
to keep us comfortable.
Okay.
When in reality, we're just inviting a lot of audience into the situation, and then making us look guilty, like the victim, who's already playing the victim. And so, yeah, I wasn't toxic, but yeah.
Okay, I got you. Respect it. Please, that's out. TT,
Oh, I'm
TT
definitely
with it too,
toxic.
girl.
Oh, yes, I am.
She got that Please.
I feel seen and called out at the moment. Yeah, I was definitely toxic. I'm one of those people that they assume that very quiet, and I am up to a point. So you push me up in the corner, then I come out nasty. And
Swing.
Lord forgive me, I'm working on it, and I look for deliverance. But I put your business out there. I keep receipts. Again, author. Don't give me
I will
material.
pull up that text message for 1762.
So definitely, I'm just gonna put all the business out there. I'm gonna let you know. So if you're coming at me with the smear campaign, I feel like if my past or something I've done testifies against me, it does just that. And if it does for me, it does for me. But I'm definitely that one. I'm telling you who did it, what they had on,
what time they did it.
That was just
Hey, TT, can I get some love on that? Can I get some love on that? Thank you for sharing that. Woo, I don't feel bad. Yes, because I'm going to
You
tell
won't
you.
fight on my page no more, though. I'm toning it down.
Oh, yes, Shelly, of course you can say that.
How my sister Prophet said she went biblical. See, I went biblical too,
Ooh.
but I went biblical just for the scriptures to be posted to get them.
Okay. Forget about that. Okay,
Get them.
Right.
So even though I was using scripture, I was using it in the wrong form.
Okay, understood.
To get them and convict them
And make them feel some type of
let the
way.
wrath come.
But they always watching.
Yeah, but in reality,
You say, who's that peeping in my window?
I wasn't using the scriptures properly. Just to put that out there.
Girl, and to piggyback, so you saying you weren't toxic either, Prophetess. You saying you was toxic?
I was toxic even, but after it was completely done.
I will tell no lie here. I was toxic. I am a reformed toxic citizen. I'm American. Don't be trying to deport me, Trump and shit. Okay, I said I was toxic. But anyway, yes, I'm a veteran of toxic. No, but seriously, I actually was, and like my girl Titi here. Not name a time, a date, a place. It's how I feel is how I feel, and I'm gonna get it out. But the reason why I got it out, and I had to, is because I wanted to know exactly. I know I'm not the only person feeling this way. I know I'm not the only person that is thinking this way. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I didn't put it out there necessarily for malicious until it did get malicious. I ain't gonna lie, I'm keeping 100, okay? But it was more so because I know a motherfucker ain't gonna drive me crazy. I know. So I was like, okay, you know what? Because I know, I feel like I know other people know. So please, let me, what y'all think? And then it was, you're involving people in our business. Well, you damn right, because I got some questions. Because it But I was toxic and I'm reformed to be toxic. Now listen, it's sleep. No, I'm just joking. But I definitely understand where each one of the ladies is coming from as far as in a toxic situation with a narcissist. Tata, definitely with you, what you said about Facebook, that's exactly what I did. And so I had to sit back, set my boundaries, and learn to forgive myself for even acting that way, even entertaining that type of energy when all I knew it was the enemy trying to come and get me. Oh, I got bars. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I felt that in my soul, y'all. Moving along. So far, recap what we said. Ladies, how we feeling? We good? We feeling good? We feeling right? You feeling right? So I want to transition here to the boundaries. Did I ask you, Prophetess, about your boundaries and the boundaries that you put up with your narcissist?
No.
Oh, I apologize. Please.
I mean, I think you did, but I feel like it was a different question.
I think it was a little bit different.
Yeah, it was a little different.
Okay, so what boundaries did you put up? You said you were going from a no contact point of view, but you didn't give your boundaries, I believe.
Because I am, but I'm
He said, wait a minute, I didn't get there yet. That's why I ain't give you no answers. I didn't get there yet. And ain't nothing wrong with it. It takes time.
I didn't understand what I was going through. I didn't understand what I was going through. Then I end up, afterwards I ended up going to therapy. Found out I had PTSD from everything. So, that kind of brought enlightenment. It's hard when you don't know what you're going through, so it kind of took me a while. But I did end up going to contact. I feel like, from a biblical standpoint, because I am a Christian, my heart was hardened.
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
that's why I was able to leave the way that I did. That makes sense.
Okay. And it makes perfect sense. It was hardened. You were once in love with a narcissist. The narcissist do you wrong, your feelings, you want to put that wall up against your heart. So it's definitely understood. I definitely understand where you're coming from. No, thou shalt not enter. Huh? And you can find that in Slim chapter 4, verse 42.
But I definitely was no contact. It had to come through a court order. So that was even better for me. Other than that, I probably wouldn't have had no boundaries because I am a loving person. I'm not even going to lie.
Okay.
I see the good in people.
Okay.
See their life. The Lord says, He does say love the sinners, even though they are who they are, or love everybody. Sorry. So I kind of go from a biblical standpoint now. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you for giving me your boundary on that. Now, you said, just to clarify, your boundary was no contact.
Right.
Okay,
I
got
forgave
you.
and with no contact.
You forgive you with the Lord, right? Did you have to forgive them too?
Yeah. I had to, those thoughts that come in your head, you just got to keep forgiving them, So I had to keep forgiving him. But I was still in contact. So.
Okay. Now, narcissists often struggle with genuine apologies. They can't say sorry or I apologize for shiz I ate. Have you ever accepted an apology from a narcissist? And if you do, 9 times out of 10 it's more so accompanied by blame shifting. Because you did this, I did that. And you did this to make you. It's never self-accountability. So we can agree, and can we not, ladies, that, or let me know if we do not, that narcissists do not take self-accountability in anything that they do or the chaos of which they created. Do you agree with that, Shelly Lou? Shelly Lou, what it is? Okay.
Yes, I agree, but they don't take no accountability. And the reason why they don't take no accountability is because they want to be the victim. They want to play the victim all the time. They want to be the star of the show. They want to be needed. And then they don't take no accountability is because they have a mask on. It's you. They don't see them. They can't look at themselves in the mirror and see their reflection. They just see you.
Water bottle. What you say? Give me some on that. Yes. How you feel? Go ahead, drop it down, Prophetess. Drop it down.
important to apologize because in their mind, it's like a puzzle. You're not asking the right questions.
Aha!
So that's both
Have to
male
be
and
smarter
female.
than that.
For male and female, did you cheat on me? You cheated on me last night? No. Why
It
you
was
cheating on me?
a night, but not last night.
But it's like, but did you step out on me? Yeah. You know, and for them, it's almost like a game. It's a game. It's definitely a game. They just want to know. They have to be superior. So I won't necessarily say it's always about being a victim, but it's always got to be. They always have to be the smartest person in the room. They always have
no
to
one
be.
can know more than them. That will bruise that ego that they got, right?
They have to
Okay.
be the most important person in the room.
Okay.
So again, like I was going back to before, it doesn't matter what's going on with you, whatever their situation is more important. So yeah, I cheated on you, but it doesn't count because it wasn't here in our city. It doesn't really affect you.
Oh.
You don't know the person that was done with, and so and you're wrong for questioning. Why are you questioning me? Now it's turned into because now it's an issue because you don't trust me. You're supposed to trust me.
You know what?
You're supposed to be down for me. You're supposed to be right or die.
Right,
And so
ride or die. I'm tired of dying. I'm tired of dying. That's all we've been doing. We've been dying.
So you have to get to a point to where you're not down in your reality. We got, as women, and I can't speak from a man's point of view, but as women, we have to have the forensic file. We got to have the pictures. We got to, even though everything in our intuition is telling us that this thing happened, we are someone that needs to have proof. You need to be comfortable with leaving because you're uncomfortable. You need to be comfortable with leaving because you have those doubts. You have to be comfortable with leaving just because you're not okay. You don't have to have I tell my children this all the time. You don't have to have a reason to leave. The only reason you need to have is that you just don't want to be there anymore.
Absolutely.
And you have to be able to be okay
It's okay
with
to
that.
go. It's okay to go.
leave. It's okay not to be okay.
Absolutely.
It's okay to feel the way you're feeling. And with my ex, it used to be my fault, your fault, nobody's fault. It's still the end of this thing.
Now, Tom, let me ask you this, TT. Have you ever received a narcissist apology? And then, excuse me, let me add to that. And then, please tell me how dealing with a narcissist, rather in your family or your significant other, how has that changed you?
I want to say as a child, it's difficult when you're dealing with someone in a person of authority.
Okay.
So this person of authority, apologies, always there's non-apologies that you receive.
And what do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is that I'm not apologizing for what I did. I'm apologizing for how you feel.
Now, excuse me, let me interject. Do you agree with that, Shelley? Who I see you shaking.
I do.
Okay.
Yes. That's very like, with me, I got the apology after the blame. So I was to blame, then I got the apology. And what that did to me, personally, every incident that happened with a narcissist, I was always apologizing to them. So here I am apologizing for something that I never even done, just to make them feel comfortable. So now I started feeling sorry when I'm not sorry for nothing.
Woo! Woo! Talk your stuff, world.
And neither are they.
Yes.
And
Neither are they. No self-accountability and no self-accountability at all. You, please, prophetess, drop a dime on them real fast. Please.
I never got an apology, and it kind of made me search for closure. Like every day, like after everything was done, I was like, what is this? Because like I said at the time, I didn't know what narcissism is. So I was kind of like upset at the fact I never received an apology from this person.
Ooh, so you had to create your own closure.
Yeah.
That the fact that they would never take accountability or give you closure.
Because accountability isn't in their jurisdiction. It isn't in their vocabulary.
It's not in their aura
You
at
have
all.
to accept that. So,
Okay, that's understandable. So, Titi, we're going to come right back to you. But however, like you guys know, this is a live podcast talk show. Now, we got a question right here from someone in the audience, so please allow me to read it. Ladies, do you think some women hide narcissistic traits behind the language of self-care or feminism? That's part one. And then part two is how do we tell the difference between empowerment narcissistic traits behind the language of self-care or feminism. Who allowed this man in the kitchen?
Absolutely.
Is he cooking the cornbread? Is he cooking? Do you want your cornbread? Sorry.
Yeah.
So again, lady,
Am
the question
I a
is,
narcissist? I think
might have
it's
some
impossible.
can we all agree that every person carries
little bit of
narcissistic
trait.
traits?
Yes, of course.
Do you agree with that, TT?
I would agree with that.
Do you agree with that, Shelly?
I do.
Do you agree with that? Put a stamp on that. Table agree that. Okay. So we all have narcissistic traits. Okay. But do you think that us women hide the narcissistic traits behind self-care and or feminism?
Yeah, try to answer that.
Okay.
From personal experience, I'm going to say this as a woman. I think it's impossible to hide a narcissistic behavior, mental health behind self-care, but it's definitely plausible behind the feminist movement. Because I noticed that a lot of feminists are extremely controlling. They have their own set of, their own reality that they expect other people to live in, and their way is the only way that's right. So I would definitely say yes to feminism, but under self-care, I don't think that it's really possible to do that. You're going to have to elaborate on that question a little bit more so I can get a better understanding of what you're asking about that.
Okay. The audience member who asked that question, can you please type more? And what about you, Shelly Lou? Do you believe that women can hide narcissistic traits behind self-care and feminism?
Yeah, I think it's possible.
Okay.
Anything's possible.
Right.
In my eyes, anything is possible because self-care. I mean, it's going to come out. It comes out. You can try to do all the self-care that you want to, but you as being the narcissist is going to come out. Nothing's going to be able to cover that up, no matter what type of self-care you do. It's just going to show its ugly face. And then the feminine part, like Sister said, most definitely controlling. Yeah, I agree totally with what she said. The controlling part of
What about you, Prophetess? Drop it down on the bed.
I feel like there's levels to that.
Levels to the shit.
There's definitely levels to it.
Okay.
Because you can get a man who doesn't see you, you can get a man who sees. So, I would say that women, it is possible, like I said, because, once again, I'm repeat myself. You can get a man who sees and a man who doesn't see. You know, typically women use a lot of self-care and emotions, and because I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm able to do this, and you're not able to do, like, it's levels. It's possible.
Now, may I interject, and thank you for that, understanding that there's levels to this shit. So, we're not saying that all men are narcissists, correct? Can I say that? We're not saying that all men are narcissists. However, we're saying that there's narcissistic traits in specific individuals, whether or not if they're family members or not just your significant other, whether it be male or female. Your choice.
Let me interject into that. I'm going to tell you right now that in my personal life, the narcissists that I've encountered have all been female.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, did she just switch again?
So I just want to make it clear to the audience that when you hear me speak, I'm definitely not speaking against men in general. Everyone that I've had personal encounters with have been female.
Okay. What about you, Shelly Lou?
It's been both.
But same.
It's been both. And I was trained to think that it was just men. Some men, not all men. Some men. But when I started to study and reflect, I said, oh, women as well.
Yes.
We can't be prejudiced now.
Hear that? It's accountability.
Both. Yeah.
Definitely.
So
Thank you for that. Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I just want to say right here, we said women do take self-accountability. You hear the answers here. I just want to put that out there. Please, Prophet. unanimous in regards to the table. I feel like men and women, it's basically a spirit that is basically transferred, to be honest with you. Narcissistic traits lie in everybody. However, I believe situations determine whom, if the narcissistic traits come out or not. Certain specific situations may be involving children, may be involving, obviously, your heart, your love that you may have for a parent. Any situation that may come up, how a person first reacts to it, you can see specific traits of whom the person they are. Do you ladies agree with that or not? Do you ladies agree with that or not? It's kind of like that flight or flight stuff, right? Like, oh, shoot, we flight or flight. Okay. So I have another question from the audience, audience engagement. Thank you so much, audience, for asking your questions. Ladies, the audience would like to know, what responsibility do you feel, if any, for how your behavior affects the emotional well-being of the men in your life? So specifically, I just want to put that out. I'm going to read the question again, ladies. This question was specific.
Rewind.
This question was specifically about men. So I want to clarify that when we're speaking about narcissists, we do understand it's not just men, it's women also. It's also related to family members. However, this question asked by a specific audience member is asking specifically about men. So I'm going to clarify that and make that sure we're on the same page. This is specifically in relationships. What responsibility do you feel, if any, for how your behavior affects the emotional well-being of the men in your life?
Okay,
drop the top. She was ready. She was ready. Drop them coins, girl.
I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, it actually just depends on how things are going. Like, if things are going how they're supposed to be going, I'm good. If things aren't going how they're not supposed to be going, I mean, what could you say? Sometimes as a woman, I get in my feelings and I don't communicate, or I go off.
Self-acceptance, okay.
And I don't want to hurt the other person's feelings, so I don't say nothing at all, which makes it worse later down the line. You know what I mean? So.
Okay. But that's in regards to that, even though you're hurting people's feelings, I mean, let's be real here. The truth is a hard pill to swallow. So you're going to hurt a couple of feelings. You understand what I'm saying? But you know what? I'm hurting your feelings out of love. Now, many will say that's a narcissistic thing you just said. No, it's not. It's not. I'm letting you know because I genuinely love you, and I'm going to give you straight up, no chaser, straight alcohol. You understand what I'm saying? Thank you for that. What about you, Shelly?
Well, for me, my emotions does affect. I mean, our emotions does because, you know, if we're in a relationship with each other, if I'm frustrated or if I'm angry and I'm lashing out at you, that's going to affect my man. So whatever mood that I have, that I bring to the atmosphere, it's going to affect the man either way it goes. And so for me, just different emotions that we have naturally, you know, that I need to have a balance for, so that way I'm not affecting my man. And I'm like Sis Prophet said, communication, that goes a long way. If I'm communicating, because I think sometimes as women don't communicate like we should, if we're frustrated, if we're tired, because we have this persona of being the superwoman all the time. We don't want to get our cake down. So we keep it quiet. And the men know we're frustrated, right? Because the way we're acting, our facial expressions. But just communicating with the man will be a lot better for the man, so that way he's not affected. Because either way goes, us women, we do affect our mates. If we're having a bad day, or if we're having a good day, we can have a good impact on our man. So,
Okay.
I'm going to take the position, when I hear the word relationship, it really depends on what capacity. You know, right now I'm a mom. I'm also a wife. I also have a position of authority that places me above certain men. And I realized for me, just being a little bit transparent, because of my upbringing and because I have I'm going to tell you how many I got a lot of kids.
That's our message, though. That's what we posted. Give life. Give life.
I tend to have a militaristic approach to things, and it's not well received with everyone. So even now, as I look for deliverance and I'm being very intentional about how I communicate to people, it doesn't always come out the way that I want it to come out. But in knowing that, I'm very quick to apologize, explain to you exactly what's going on, and let you know that, yes, I did this, and it's offensive, and I apologize, and try to explain to you what's going on with it. But as a mom, I've made a lot of mistakes. I have two strong men that have looked up to me, and one I birthed and one I haven't. And, there's things I even look back at now that I wish I had handled a little bit differently, but they have that open space to communicate with me about some of those things, and I take that accountability to where I made those missteps and where I did the things right. And so you have to leave that open to where I literally, for me as a mom, I had to teach them that it's okay to be emotional. They're allowed to have feelings.
Absolutely, absolutely.
With my husband, a little bit different. We got 20 years in it, so I want to say that it's like I didn't communicate.
20 years. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Excuse me. Let me interject. Hashtag Black Love. Hashtag 20 years. 20 years. I can crank about that. Right? Yeah, 20 years. Okay.
I'm super emotional. So I wasn't always someone that was good at communicating. I was a screamer. I was one that threw things. And I'm so grateful to my husband because he was that person that told me, hey, baby, take a little bit of time for yourself and come back. And he has this thing called assume the position. I won't tell you what that is. But,
hey, wait a minute. Do we want to know? Do we want to know?
And we can sit down. And it's literally, I'm sitting in his lap, and we're face to face with one another.
Okay.
And it's extremely difficult to be screaming at somebody when you're sitting in their face. When you're face to face with them. And it caused me to have to slow down, where my thoughts are running faster, because I'm telling you I will finish your sentence, and it wouldn't be where you want to go. It caused me to slow down a little bit, just to acknowledge where he was feeling, to hear what he was saying.
Comprehend.
And so that
listening.
Instead of assuming what he meant, it caused me to really understand where he was coming from. And even if we came out of it in disagreement, we literally came out of it with understanding. We came out of it loving one another. So yes. I think that my husband has a saying that says, you get out of her what you put into her.
What? You better water me like a plant.
So I want to say, again, as someone who did not always, and I still don't, there's times where I'm just not, and he just lets me go and comes back to it. And even the people in my workplace, shout out to you guys. Putting up with me. Thank you so much for putting up with me and having that little bit of understanding. I think that, we're women, we're people.
Right.
People before we're women.
Yes.
Before our title, before our position.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to affect everyone around us, and we just have to be conscious about how we do that. And I'm glad that I have people accountability, like my pastors at my church. They keep me very accountable in my personal life, even at my workspace. And you can get someone, if you feel like that you're someone who doesn't really recognize those traits in yourself, then get you someone that's a person of accountability that's going to tell you the truth in love.
In love. Key word. In love.
That's not going to be trying to tear you down so that you can get back into that trajectory that you need to be doing.
Thank you so much for the... Woo! I'm so sorry, Shelly. Yes! Okay, bro. Okay. So again, as said, this is a live audience, and we do have a question from the studio audience. The question is, ladies, given your experience with narcissists, is there any instances where a narcissist can be loved and have a healthy relationship with Jesus?
That was heavy.
You better pray to make it today.
They can be in love with the blind. I mean,
right. So do you feel that at any given time that they could be
walk this thing out. Right now. Right now. We walk this thing out. So I have another relative, like I said before, I have a lot of relatives with narcissists. Like I said, am I one?
What'd you say? Is it hereditary? Check the bloodline. Check the bloodline.
I would say, even if they never change who they are, I love them where they are. So you got to learn to love people where they are. There's a formula of forgiveness that I learned that I'm going to share with the audience. And it's literally saying, blank, I forgive you. You did A, B, C, D.
E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
You're justified.
No,
You're justified on how you're feeling about this, but I'm going to release you into the freedom of my forgiveness. So every single time that thing comes up, you're repeating that prayer. A, you did this to me, but I'm going to release you into the freedom, because I feel like in order for them to be loved, you have to understand what mercy is. Ooh. You have to understand what forgiveness is. And mercy says, you did this thing, but I'm going to treat you as if you didn't. And in order for me to
mercy.
In order for me to be able to do that, I have to have that grace. And in order for me to have that grace, we have to be walking in forgiveness on a daily basis in everything that we do. So can I love them? Yes. And I can love you and not be in relationship with you. I can love you
and love you from that.
How you said that long handle spoon. But if you're talking about direct, if you have to be in direct communication with these people, you have to love them where they are, and you have to be fully armored.
I'm gonna love you with my boundaries.
You got to be fully armored, so you have to have those boundaries there, and you have to be comfortable with executing them the moment that you're seeing these traits coming up. And if they may never learn to change, but they will learn you.
Absolutely. Oh, okay. Thank you. So, ladies, right now, if you have watched, I want to thank you so much for your thoughts, your opinions, your suggestions, definitely your concerns as well, and your information on the topic about narcissists, the traits they use, how you use them, how you manipulate it, and how that made you different, stronger, wiser, etc. Now we're going to move into the other segment real fast, where we're going to address the topics from the men table. If you ladies remember, in April, we had the men's table where the men gave their thoughts, their feelings, their concerns about relationships, and I had asked the women to ask men questions. Remember, they was diving deep into that soul bowl. We was eating their ass up. So listen, the men did the same thing to us, okay? So listen, before the episode ended, the men asked the women questions. And here to go ahead and do that segment, I'm going to go ahead and introduce my permanent male panelist, True Cortez!
What's happening, everybody? You know, we here. Appreciate it. Give praise to Most High. I woke up this morning. Appreciate Slim for bringing me to the Soul Connection. And these beautiful women, the whole live audience. We're going to go ahead and get into that. We're going to go straight into digging in. Besides that, you can check out my new book coming out probably around June. It's called Take a Stroll on My Timbs, based on my lifestyle. And if you don't know about them Timbs, you better find out. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and just dig straight into these questions. Well, let me start this. True Fontaine. Check me out on Fontaine72 Instagram, Facebook, Soul Connection. And my thing is, I said I'm a reformed narcissist because of the fact I recognize when you speak in the third person, it's a problem. And I did that for quite a while. So you start singing songs on my name, your name, that ain't going down, that ain't going well. Now, we're going to dig straight in. Ooh. Oh, this is good. Women, ladies, when will women take accountability for their own happiness? Now, you want to define on happiness because everybody's definition is definitely different. Because I might smile and put my face on and be grinning behind your back. So, anybody would like to start off?
Well, first off, our happiness is on us. When somebody else puts in a picture, they add to that happiness.
that me being happy and joy are two separate entities. Happiness is literally dependent on what's happening around you. And some of those things are outside of your control. So you can't really be controlled what your happiness in that sense, but that joy, well, that comes from a different place. And for me, that comes from the Lord at all times. So we're always in control of what our relationship is with God, but as far as happiness is concerned, I don't look to other people to make me happy. When I met my husband, he was already on full, 100%, and I was 100%, so as he poured to me, that overflow came out. When I poured into him, that overflow came out. And sometimes if he was on 50 and I poured in, I might feel a little bit empty here, but we gave ourselves some space so that we could refill back the way that we know how to refill. And it's okay. I feel like it's okay to not always be in a great place. It's okay not to be happy all the time, but I don't think that any real woman is going to hold someone else accountable for them not feeling happy, for them not being in a happy place. If that makes sense.
Natural balance.
Okay. And I agree as well, because happiness comes from within. And so if I'm happy, I can't project that on anyone else. I can't rely on anyone else to make me happy, because I'm happy within myself. And I take that accountability to continue to stay that way, be consistent. And what that takes is prayer and meditation. And not looking to outside sources, because outside sources is fickle. People are fickle. Things break, if you're into materialistic things. But just maintaining that happiness.
Sometimes you just gotta be alone, okay? You're not happy? Go be alone.
And if you're upset or angry and then not happy, then that's where the accountability comes out, where you go to yourself and you have that self-care saying, I'm not happy today, but I'm going to speak life to myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak prosperity and emotional health over myself, because I'm going to get back to that happy place.
Wait, hold on, time out. How you going to say that you dealing with a narcissist?
Well, that's easy, because you don't get your happiness from a narcissist. You get your happiness from the source, the Most High. If the narcissist is not happy and upset and angry, I'm going back to my source, because one thing I've known with the narcissist, they can try to make you feel the way they feel by manipulation, right?
What?
And so I'm going back to my source to check back in, to recharge. Because my happiness tank is going low, so I need to tap into the Most High so I can feel, so I can consistently be happy and maintain that happiness.
Let me piggyback off of that a little bit. If we're talking about happiness with a narcissist, I think what's going on is that, as far as women's concerned, too many women are concerned with being a place of peace. Being a place of peace somewhere where they should be taking shelter. For a place that they should be taking shelter from. And so it comes with having to recognize where you are in the situation that you're in. And unfortunately, they've been conned. Some men come up with their A game. They don't come in with relationships on their D game. You know what I'm saying? But once they get in, it is too much. I mean, it's a little far too late. So you're asking them to be happy in a situation too where they might be getting abused. How do you ask them to be in control of their happiness when they don't feel safe, when they don't feel sane, when they are questioning everything that's going around them? And so again, that just goes a little bit deeper. I would think that they would need to get some therapy once they start recognizing what's going on and start making their exit strategy.
Now, real quick, would that be like insecurity or dealing with narcissism?
I would say it's specifically, the question was dealing with the narcissism, I would say narcissism. I don't think that has to deal with insecurity. If I come up with an example, if there's a point where a man might feel like he needs to have privacy, so he might have a coat on his phone. Okay. So she's insecure. She's constantly worried about, let me see your phone. Can I see your phone? What's going on? What you doing? Well, then I would not categorize that as narcissism. Her being happy with narcissism. That would be insecurity. But if he's getting some dinging going on at 3 o'clock in the morning, and she's saying, well, who's that on that phone? And he's talking about, mind your business. Why do you question me? You don't love me. Why don't you trust me? And she's sitting there questioning herself, and she's not happy about what's going on.
She's not doing what she's supposed to be doing. She's
So it's like there's the kind of the thin line there. You have to be able to identify: are these things are these me issues or him issues?
Now, we're going to go on to the next one.
Wait a minute, drop for this. You drop a dime? You drop a couple of change?
Maybe a quarter or two.
I'm just real short and simple with it. Like, if you're not happy, go
Go
be
on.
alone. Go be alone. Because if there is certain things that you don't like in an individual, there's always a next individual that you're going to have to deal with something. Because we all coming from trauma. We all, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go be alone. Go find yourself. Go be with the trees. Go be with the flowers, the animals. Like, there's always going to be
Somebody
something.
beside yourself being a narcissist.
It don't matter. Narcissists, friends, family, it don't matter.
All right, ladies. We're going to move on to this next one. This is an interesting one. Why do women think having a male friend in a committed relationship is okay? Now, hold on. Before we get there. Because there are certain boundaries. I have a friend. That's my best friend. You know, so it all depends on what angle we're looking at. Because if I'm married, or if I have a lady, I don't want anything outside of that because she's my best friend. You know, that's my sister. But, you know.
Audience question. So you feel that your woman can provide 100%? So you feel that your woman can provide 100% of everything you need? Not
No.
50, not
No.
85.
Nobody can provide 100%. It's 50-50 all the way.
50-50?
I'm going to do mine, you're going to do yours. That's how we get 100.
First of all, it should be talked about. If it's okay, it should be talked about. If that's what your relationship requires, or that's what y'all allow, that's what it is. I just don't feel like, it's required for everybody because there's some insecure people and there's not insecure people. And
Right, absolutely. You just say, I'm 10 toes down.
But also, there is a time where you should listen to your partner. Like, if you have discernment and their discernment is up with your discernment, and they be like, I don't like them, and that's how people, communication. Like there's some people that do have male friends, and there's some women, and those male friends are waiting for an opening in your relationship to slide in there. There's some women that it's vice versa. So you just have to.
I'm gonna say boundaries. I actually cut loose someone because they overstepped some boundaries. I agree with what you said, Don. This is something that should be discussed before you even get serious in a relationship. Is this going to be an issue? And then on the other side, any men that are involved in my life, there are definitely boundaries there. They know that there's certain things that you cannot come and talk to me about. You can't call me at certain times at night.
Talk your
Don't
shit.
invite me out to come out, hang out with y'all, especially if we're not, especially if you're not married. If you're single, because there's different stages in every relationship. And so you being a single man can't come to me, as a married woman and want to discuss to me about, different relationship issues unless you're in that relationship. So it's knowing your person, your partner, me in my case, my spouse, knowing the people that you are connected to and being able to shift and pivot if you need to pivot.
Don't cross that gun line, boss.
Insert gunshot here.
Well, for me, it's okay to have a friendship, like we all discussed, boundaries, right? But for me, if I'm married or single, but it's different because if you're married, it's different from being single. But if you're speaking to a male, there should be another person in the room, or if you're going out, it should never be just y'all two, because it can be very messy if you have this best friend and your man or your woman treating you wrong. Sometimes you do hook up with your friends, to have a chat or whatnot, but what I'm saying is there always should be a third party. See, I was raised that you don't go with another man unless there is another woman or another man with you. A chaperone, yes.
Oh, I agree with that.
You got to have somebody with you.
Always.
But I just feel like, you should have a plan that should be discussed before in the relationship. But as far as the best friend part, me personally, I have an issue with the best friend part. I do. It's not that I'm insecure. It's just that I was married before, and I was your wife and now I'm single. But there shouldn't be no best friends if we are together, for me.
If you ask me, everybody
Because we said best friend. We said best friend. Yeah, because we said best friend. It was best friend. Now, the best friend part, I'm like, that's your friend, and then we should know each other. We should be able to, hey, how you doing, girl?
Check this out. This is a good one right here. Now, I don't use the word sorry because I ain't never been sorry. I don't apologize. I don't apologize. My bad, Paul himself. But it states why women are never say they're sorry. Now, I was in a relationship and I was dealing with that. This woman, I could literally be like, you know you're dead wrong. No, I'm not. Still can't get an apology. But if I know when I'm wrong, I'm going to admit to it. Not everybody's like that. It's a different perspective from men and women. But why women never say they are sorry?
It's a pride thing. I say that it's a pride. We have a pride issue, and then we speaking from women, I'm being real. We want to be right all the time. We want to be right. We don't want to be wrong. Don't tell us we're doing something wrong. Today we're doing something wrong.
Somebody always disagree. She's like, no.
So for me, that's what it is.
Keep it on the eye,
I'm thinking about myself because I did it a couple times. If we go down memory lane, we can think about a couple times where we didn't say sorry when we should have said sorry when we were wrong. It's an ego, it's a pride thing. We don't want to be wrong when we are wrong, and that's what they accountability. I'm saying that. Both ways, but as coming from women, we do hide that. We hide those apologies. We do. We hide them because we want to be right. We want to be the it.
I don't claim women.
What you claim?
Listen, I'm a person that I apologize.
You claim fairness?
Listen, I apologize.
Equality?
I would say I'm sorry. I grew up in a household where sorry was like a cuss word. You know what I'm saying? Even it was like my culture would have taught me to never say sorry, to never apologize, and stand on that was their way of stand on business. If you're wrong, stand on that. You made that bad, stand on that. And I wanted to be 100% opposite of how I grew up. So I didn't tell my kids sorry. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And it is what it is. And my friends are that way.
Okay,
So
okay.
I guess it's like birds of a feather really do flock together. If they're wrong, they're going to say, I'm sorry. There's no roundabout. So I'm thinking at this point, I can't relate. I don't know.
You can feel it when you ain't saying sorry. You know that.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
Like, I know I should have,
It's
but
a
damn, I didn't.
Yeah, it's a soul thing. You can feel that. And then when you have those patterns and nonsense, you start to do some self-reflection. Like, you know what? I got to say sorry. This is the right thing to do. And then you start to feel better about yourself when you start to
Everybody
apologize.
does that.
I don't know. It depends.
Which situation and what time?
It
It depends on my emotions, how I'm feeling.
You got me upset. You keep making me upset when I'm supposed to be steaming down. Look, we gonna have to talk about this 35 business days.
Oh, not 3 to 5. That's only like a week. 3 to 5 is like 7 to 10. Now, ladies, check this out. Look, I'm gonna let y'all read this question before I put it out there.
Why do women
I
think...
said I'm gonna. I said read it. Thank you. Now the question is,
Girl.
why do you women think you are a prize? You said you going first. Come on, step up.
Of course I'm going first because
You are the prize? Anyway.
did God not give Adam a helpmate?
She dropped that chain.
That's all.
I believe that we are the prize is because, we are the givers of life. We are the helpmate. We are the peanut butter to the jelly. We are all of that. I feel like we are the prize because God created us so unique and so virtuous that men cannot move or without us. I mean, with God you can. We know that. But I'm saying
push that right
there.
Jeez.
With the woman, behind every great man, there's that powerful, virtuous woman. So,
Women say the same thing. Women will build the house.
woo!
We are his place of peace. We are the nourishment. We are the table. You don't have to bring nothing to the table. We are the table. So I feel like the women are a prize. Just literally what she just said. God created Eve, for Adam as a present for Adam. And I feel like I think that gets lost with our generation. I think it gets lost even in the black community, that they forget that women are the prize and that we should be fought for and not against.
Talk your stuff. We were created for a purpose. And set the tone. Wouldn't be no people with
Come on now, without our women, there would be
right.
nothing
Yes.
else.
We're powerful. We're magnetic. Much more than just eyes.
Ooh, I want to get back on that. You building the house and I'm gonna leave that alone right now. Cause he said I'm building the house. No, I built the house and everything else is maintained.
Come on, let me say this.
Hold on.
Let me say this. Come on, they need us because you can send a man to a grocery store and that man is going to need a list. He ain't going to remember. You can send him there was for 3 items.
They can't multitask.
Wait, hold on.
Multitask.
Marvin, wait. You got to minimize that. Some men, can't say all men.
Some men. He's right.
Yeah,
Some men.
because I can go to the grocery store and take care of it. Anyway,
Right,
this is a question from the audience. It said, so men can't be a prize? Are they not just as valuable as a woman? Are men not just as necessary to the unit as a woman?
Well,
Wait, hold on. Just from my perspective, the man is the foundation, and everything is built up from him. Mind that women and men are able to discuss anything they want this time next month. But anyway, we are all equal. I play my part, you play mine. You play yours, I play mine. If I mess up 60, you take care of 40. Whichever I do, you reflect, because I'm the sun and you the moon. So if I'm doing great, you doing better. I'm building the house, anything outside of that, we gonna take care of together. But I know one thing for sure, 2 things for certain, we both, as a unit, are the prize. But please start. Remember, is the man a prize, or is it just y'all?
He said a biblical standpoint, a man who finds a wife finds a good thing, not a woman who finds a husband finds a good thing. I'm not saying you aren't the prize, guys, but I'm just saying, more like providers and I'm sorry. I didn't say this. This is the Bible.
On some cotton. She said, man, oh
God didn't have us on the chariot fighting wars. I'm just saying, we were at home with the kids.
Okay.
I believe both, because if we go back, I mean, even in Genesis, okay, we know that the woman was created, after the man, but it's both, it's equal. The woman's not in back of the man, she's beside the man's beside the woman, he's not in back of her. So I do believe a man's the prize. If it wasn't a prize, we wouldn't be connected to him or even married to him. They're the prize.
I'm going to say there's a difference between a prize and what I see as my husband. My husband is my treasure.
Yeah, you know what?
But
You know what?
Come on with it.
Talk your shit.
And so prize, when you look at it, prize is something that's unexpected sometimes. Sometimes it's a gift. And the treasure is just, he has that value no matter whether he's found or not. And so I go by the biblical foundation that says a man that finds a wife finds a good thing. Well, when he finds her, she's already a wife before he marries her. And that's why she is the prize, because he's found something that was unexpected, something he was looking for. But see, the reason why the Bible also tells a man to cleave unto his wife and forsake all others. And the reason why they don't give that for women is because she leaves her camp. He gives me his last name. He put his name, he loved it. He put his name on it, not just the name. He put the name on it. So he recognizes the value, the price of who she is. And she has to uphold that by, in Proverbs, I know I'm
Wait, pardon me. Time out. I just noticed how you went from him being the prize to the woman. So can we reflect on the question?
He's a treasure. He is a treasure.
He's a prize. Yes.
No, he is not a prize. She is
I'm
the
just
treasure.
trying
She
to
is
bounce
the
out.
prize.
Yeah.
She is the prize, but he is someone that will always be treasured. So no, I don't know. Absolutely not.
Okay, I'm glad we got back on the topic because you just switched so. Is that narcissism?
It's more like
She
straight
said,
line.
the man be the prize, so I'm the prize.
You know what I mean?
He cleaves on to her because she is the prize.
Yeah,
He forsakes
you went right back to it. Yep. That's how I think then. We went right back to that woman thing.
Yeah, no,
She's the
no.
prize, but the man, the question was, is the man the prize? Anyway, next one up.
No.
Yo, check it.
No.
When will women take accountability for their own happiness?
You asked that already.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Well,
He need clarification or something.
That was it. You got to go to the.
well, you know what? You're right. I'm wrong. Let's go do this.
Alright.
Not
You still
smile.
doing good, baby.
That's from daughters and wives.
What are the numbers?
Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, I can answer it if you
Please
if you
do.
want it. I think when women decide they want to be mature, I guess, you know, when you still got women that just want to do what they want to do, they don't want to grow, they're still in the same place from 10 years ago. I mean, you decide you want better for yourself, you'll look within, and that could take, I don't know, to the grave. Some women, you know.
I like the way you said that, women, because just because you're 18 doesn't make you a woman. It can make you a girl. Because I ain't got no girls. I always deal with women.
That part. Give a shout out to Robert Banks.
Yeah, 'cause you could be 40, but at 18 mentality.
It's a difference between being grown and just being an adult.
Yeah, 'cause you could be 40 and be a girl. I don't know.
You can
Young
be 100.
minded.
It wouldn't
That
even
trauma bond, that trauma keeps you at that mind state. That's what some narcissistic abilities can do. You keep you at that mind state and your trauma. So now you experience trauma at 13 years of age, and now you have a 13 years of age mental mind state at the age of 40. Houston, we have a problem. Seek therapy. There's therapy and prayer.
We have a lot of that.
Absolutely.
The pain.
That's going on.
And syndrome.
Yeah. Captain Hooking up.
Oh yeah, Peter Pan syndrome.
Yeah,
Oh,
Peter
okay,
Pan
there you go.
Stuck.
There you go. Stuck.
You want to be 45 on the block with the 15-year-olds and all that? No.
Stuck.
Does everybody have their raffle tickets?
Yes, please get your raffle tickets
Let's go ahead and
ready.
get that.
Let's dive deep into the soul bag and pull out them numbers. All right, we got ticket 967164.
Ooh. No.
Ah! He said, ladies, you got a prize. You got a prize. Please, Danielle, please come up, stand up here. Oh, excuse me, I ain't talking like that, girl. Please come up here and state your name, where they can follow you from.
Congratulations on winning.
Yeah, oh, thank you. You're welcome. Give it a hand. I'm doing that right now. State your name. Oh, I did. Oh, you did? Okay, I'm sorry. So we want to go ahead and give a quick shout out to our beloved affiliate, Queen Tippy Town. Hold on. Girl, Rick came through with the sound. She provided us the lights with the sound for her everything. I ain't mad at it. Shout out to Queen Tippy Town. Thank you, girl. Now that's how you create a Soulll connection. I know, right? So listen, I want to say thank you so much for providing me with your time, your energy. I really hope this was informative to you. If you have any questions, concerns, comments about the show, leave it in the comments. Remember, please to always do your own research, okay? I want to thank my panelists for coming here today. I want to thank my audience for dropping out. Y'all know who it is. So listen, if you're interested in being on the show, being part of the panelists, being part of the audience, please add me in the inbox at SoulllConnections Conversation for Your Soul Live Podcast Talk Show. Please inbox me and I'll have my personal assistant go ahead and reach out and touch somebody. Now, for next month, I'm going to have the ladies write another question for the men. Because next month, we're going to do the men on one side, the women on the other side, and we're going to mediate the middle in between. Y'all know how it is. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to because the key is to change the energy so we can be all on the same frequency. So if you are interested, please remember that it is $20. I ain't up for yet, y'all. But listen, I want to say thanks so much for tuning in. I'm your one and only host, Slim. Yes, self-love is mandatory. That is a fact. And do not forget to take care of your soul connections. Thank y'all for timing in to Ladies in the Meeting Room. Appreciate that. Be back real soon.